Welcome back to the page where I'm simply going to answer questions that people asked in the comments, and then people are going to get upset about it. Who was your mentor in magic? My mentor was Darwin Ortiz, and you should check him out if you're unfamiliar with Darwin. There's not a lot of video of him readily available, but he wrote a couple books, and they are just fantastic, and if it wasn't for him, I would not be sitting here right now. Or would I have a career in card magic? Good old Darwin Ortiz, check him out. Yogi says, can I please attempt to pronounce Glasgow and Edinburgh correctly? I would like to apologize on behalf of every American. If you're asking that question, we must be butchering that every single day. From Hayes, can I have a hat, please? All right, I think we're done with Facebook. If you would like merch, yeah, you can go on my website, onto the store, and go onto merch, and we have hats and all sorts of things there. We have my Only Hands shirt. And a lot of more things coming up. We have dice, we have keychains, poker chips. We have all sorts of interesting things coming up that we are adding very soon. Shameless plug, who cares? All right, let's move all the way down to the bottom, where some of the dumbest, most petty, stupid, ignorant, jealous morons live. That's a little place called YouTube. Luke says, what brand of watch is that pocket watch? Beautiful. Yes, these are Handheart watches. They are absolutely fantastic. And I have maybe 5 or 6 of them. They're getting pretty hard to find. They're pretty expensive. Some of these you can find for $1,500, but I really enjoy them. And also, fun fact, Handheart is the watch that Steve McQueen wore. And they have a very similar style, the wristwatch and the stopwatch. Uncle Buckle says, bourbon or scotch, rocks or neat? I am a single malt scotch kind of guy, and neat, always neat. And maybe you can put a couple drops of water in there to open the scotch up, but usually I like just neat. LJ5815, any trick you are not able to do but actively trying to achieve? I am always working on something new. So yes, right now I can probably think of 20 things, 25 things. I've got a list that I'm always adding to and working on and constantly trying to innovate and improve and grow. So yes, there's a lot of things that I'm always working on, and in 5 or 6 years, you'll probably see them on the internet. Have you ever actually worked in a casino? No, I could not work in a casino. Casinos vet their dealers, and there's no way that I would be able to sit at a table and deal cards for money. Plus, if anybody recognized me, if you went to a casino and sat down and saw me dealing cards for you, you probably wouldn't be very comfortable. So the casinos don't want that for their guests. So no, I would never work in a casino. The Degenerate 7 says, can you do what you do while blindfolded? You just know that this guy bet his friend like $50. Like, I'll bet you $50 he responds to my comment. Yes, Degenerate 7. I can do what I do while blindfolded, and I've done it 150 times, probably close to 150, maybe 200 videos are blindfolded. So get your scroll on. Can you make a castle of cards? You know what's funny? I have never made a castle of cards. I use my cards for card cheating and things of that nature, so it doesn't quite interest me to make a card castle. I know that sounds odd. If you're a fan of the page, you may have expected that that's something I'm into, but no, I've never built. Maybe when I was a kid, I made a couple triangles 3 stories tall, but that's about it. Rogue Runner 7 says, first trick you perfected. You made me run to my library for this one. The Magic Handbook. In here, there's something called an ace assembly. And if you don't know what card magic is, ace assembly is a very classic plot. You put 4 aces on the table, you put 3 cards on top of each one. One by one, they all disappear and they appear in one packet while they're under somebody's hand. And that to me was just an amazing trick. And it was kind of my go-to for a long time. Agerly Jones says, of course, I don't expect an answer. Well, ta-da. When you catch a card out of a deck, which is impressive, of course it is. Why do you always take the top card from the remaining deck and put it at the bottom? That's how dealers pick up groups of cards, especially after a wash or when the cards are in a mess, right? So if the deck is all squared up like this, it's very easy to pick up the entire deck. However, if the deck is all messed up like this, it can be difficult to get your fingers under the deck. It just makes a mess. So what we do is take the top card of the deck and use it as a scoop. So that's why you'll see that in a lot of videos. I'll do this. I'll show the cards this way, and then it's easier to pick the cards up like that. And also, you'll notice that in hands, say we've got some hands dealt around the table, it's easier to pick this hand up by scooping. So whether you do it with 4 or 5 cards or 1 card doesn't make a difference. But end of the day, that's a very common technique to pick up cards quickly. Do paper cuts mess you up? Well, in my entire life, there's only been one deck of cards that's given me a paper cut. And it's not this exact deck, but it's this company. Curious Cask playing cards, this whiskey deck. It's not this exact deck. They made a different version that had gold edges, actual metal foil gold edges. And that deck of cards split my finger open. Oh, and it burned. So yeah, there was only one deck in my entire life that gave me a paper cut. Thanks guys. Tanner, which follower base, TikTok, Insta, or YouTube, do you like the most and the least, and why? I've kind of been handling that during the video. What I've noticed is Instagram seems to have the most normal people. You get great interactions, the videos do well, and I would say 95% of the comments are interesting questions or challenges or asking for show dates, just like normal people. But there's like a handful of people that can't handle it. They're just like, they really are bothered by what I do, but it's very small. TikTok is wild. TikTok is people that just want attention. So they're trolling, but there's nothing real behind it. Like cut off your hands and find the 4 aces or something. Nobody can do that. But if anybody could, it would be me anyway. But still, kind of just less, the comments don't have as much depth. Facebook is, I don't know about Facebook. It's older group, so they watch the videos, they say this guy's great. There's not a lot of people with problems. There's not a lot of hate. It's just, we like your videos, pretty chill. But the videos, I have much less following on Facebook. Each video, I think I only have 65,000 followers. So it's just kind of just churning in the background. YouTube there are so many people on YouTube that just have a problem with the world. They're just these lonely, sad, pathetic, empty husks of people that are desperate for the attention that their dad never gave them as a child. So the only way they can feel better about themselves is to eat Cheetos and go into the YouTube comment sections and leave these absolutely hideous comments that is really a look into their lives. And it's just really sad. But just to be fair, the absolute worst platform in existence is Reddit. There is nothing worse on the planet. It is the dumbest people I have ever seen all together in one place at one time. So sometimes I'll notice that my following jumps, there's like a spike, 3,000-4,000 overnight or something like that. And that means that something's going on somewhere. And I'll get a comment that says, oh, I've seen your video on Reddit. I would rather have 1 billion shards of glass and gasoline and salt rubbed into my eyes and then be tied to the back of a pickup truck, naked, and driven around town until my body disintegrates into nothing, than read the comments on a Reddit post. Oh my, they're just the worst. There's the worst people. There's only one group that's less than that, and that's the TSA. But that's a whole different story. But Reddit is pretty bad. Question: can you do the same card artistry left-handed? Interesting question, because I'm right-handed, but most of the card work, most of the difficult sleights I do are with my left hand. The right hand typically provides cover, or think about dealing for a second. The right hand is simply pitching the card out, but the left hand's really doing all the work. So it's an interesting question, and yes, there are a handful of things that I've done with both hands, but I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about mastering sleight of hand instead of worrying about learning it with another hand. Michael says, how do you do the waterfall? Flawlessly, that's how.